this is the Sarasota Technology Computer User Group. This is Wednesday, October 5th, 2022. I'm Huey Poplock, your master of ceremonies, so to speak. Tonight, we're going to have a presentation by Judy Taylour, but first, I've got a few announcements for us. At the end, we'll have a drawing for a STUG one-year membership renewal, which means, of course, it's for members only. If you want to become a member of STUG, a one-year membership is $30 for an individual or a family, and you can find the membership application on thestug.org. We have classes and forums. The classes are limited to current STUG members only, unless otherwise noted. We now have a Windows special interest group that I lead for both STUG and the Central Florida Computer Society the second Sunday from 1 to 2:45. That's this Sunday, October 9th. And you can sign up for the WinSig newsletter at huey.net. The STUG Help Desk is the third Wednesday of the month, October 19th from 4 to 5:15. And you have to sign up with the link, and you can get that link in the newsletters that go out from the organization to all of the paid members. Tech for Seniors every Monday from 11:30 to 1:15 Eastern Time. That's Zoom, and it streams on YouTube. Tech for Senior Live was every Thursday. That's tomorrow at 11:50 to 1:05, and that's streamed on YouTube and Facebook. And Learning Chromebooks is the fourth Tuesday of the month. And you can get more information and the links at techforsenior.com. There's no S at the end. The STUG has a website, has a newsletter, YouTube channel, a Facebook page, and we also have the STUG Groups IO, which is a place where you can ask questions, get answers, and you just have to subscribe to the STUG plus mark subscribe at groups.io. And then the STUG Friday trending email is sent to all current members every Friday. We now have a STUG calendar. If you go to the main page of the website, you'll see where it says click here. You'll see a box that says Google Calendar, and you can see the calendar for the month. And there's information if you click on the item that you're looking at. Here's our board of directors for 2022, and our president, Ann Ross, is going to present tonight's speaker. So I am going to stop sharing. Oh gosh, it's over here and it's something in the way here. And we'll turn it over to you. Don't forget to unmute.
Bill did it for me. Thank you, Bill. I'm sitting here tonight with Bill Crow because my computer is not working. Imagine being in this hurricane and having only a computer that doesn't work. But at any rate, our editor, Noreen Eckert, had no internet until yesterday. So the monitor was not proofed and it didn't get out until yesterday. And so with that, Judy Taylour, I just wanted to tell you all that her spelling of her last name is Taylour and not as it appears in the monitor. We're sorry for that. No proofing, that's all, Judy. But she's going to talk tonight about utility applications, and that's going to be exciting to hear about. At the very end, she's going to share, ask us to share some of our favorite apps during a question and answer period. So that should be fun too. Judy is the president and webmaster of the Santa Clarita Valley Computer Club. And she's been a member, this is in California, and she's been a member there for 34 years. So I'm not going to give any more time to her presentation, take away any more time from her presentation tonight. We are so happy to have you here with us in storm-ridden Sarasota, Florida. Judy, take it away. Let's give a great welcome to Judy Taylour. Judy.
Myself. Thank you, Anne. Appreciate that. And I'm going to share my screen and off we go. This is about a variety of utility apps, some that I use, some that my tech buddies use. And at the end, if you have something that you absolutely think is the greatest thing that came down the pike, I'd love to have you share it so we can all learn about it. So this is who I am. And this presentation is brought to you by APCUG Speakers Bureau. And that's one of your group's benefits of membership in the association. So I do cloud backup. I do the redundant thing. I have, my documents on my hard drive. I have an external drive that backs up every time I save something. That comes from when I taught tech classes for 22 years and thought I never wanted to lose any of my bright idea curriculum that I was putting together. And then I use iDrive as my cloud backup. And it's usually one of the #1 cloud backups when you look at articles that are reviewing them and rating them. I like homegrown stuff, and it's in Calabasas, which is a couple of valleys west of me. They're always having specials. When my computer kid got hers, she got it for $6.95 a year. And you get 2 terabytes of storage. And if you decide this is something you want to use and you think, oh my gosh, it's going to take me forever to upload the data, they will send you an SSD drive. You can plug it in, transfer your data over to there with however you want to, mail it back to them, and they will upload it to your iDrive cloud account. And every day I get this kind of information. This is from 2018, but it tells me how many files were considered for backup, how many are in the account, and they backed up 41 files on August 26, 2018. And that's how long it took them. And they say, regards, iDrive support. And if for some reason 1 or 2 didn't work, they also let me know that. I can check and see, what didn't get sent up to the cloud and try to figure out why. Leo Notenboom, if you are a fan of Ask Leo, he says you should be using the easiest to-do program. And it's a system backup or file backup, everything you would like to do. He kind of talks about the free program quite a bit, but it is also a paid program. I find that many people are using this as their backup program. And our friend Linda and Jean Barlow, they represent Acronis True Image, and the latest version is 2022. And again, it's an image backup, it's a file backup, it's morphed into all kinds of different things than it used to be. And the beauty of it is they sell it to APCUG members for 50% off the Acronis regular price. And they are a standalone organization, and they support user groups. He has recently had a few strokes, so they no longer give tech support. But again, I know many people that they swear by this and could not live without it. And our buddy Bob is here, and this is his program. And it's my favorite security program. And Bob says, why bother? Just use the free one. It's really good. And they have since merged with Norton. And so between them, they rule the world when it comes to antivirus type software. And in 2016, I had 2 members that were going to Prague on a cruise type thing. And I got a hold of Bob and said, is there any way they could go to corporate office? And he was kind enough to get them a tour. And it was a really fun time. They brought back tons of pictures. We got to see what it looked like. And it reminded me a lot of Google's home office. I had an opportunity to go there one time out of San Jose, and it was quite similar to that. And in 2017, they bought the ever popular Piriform out of England, and that includes CCleaner. Bob gives presentations on security, and he also gives presentations on CCleaner. Malwarebytes, something that I could not do about. Bob also recommends this. This is one of the 2 programs that I pay for, and I just prefer to have it do it update itself automatically, so I don't have to think about it. You can download it for free, or you can buy the premium. And my go-to program that I couldn't do without is Patch My PC. We have our 2C updates from Microsoft, and we have a lot of other software on our hard drive. Well, how do we get it updated? Like, do you want to go to each website and see if they have an update? You can go to Ninite or File Hippo. Those don't do anything for me. And the late Matt Batt was the president of the computer club in Florida, and he wrote about it in his president's column. And I could tell that he was somebody that knew what he was talking about when it came to technology. So I thought, I'm going to give it a try. And as he said, hackers love it when you do not update your other software, because they can find their ways in very easily, because there are so many security updates out there. So again, we need to keep everything up to date, and it keeps over 300 apps up to date on your computer if you happen to have that many. My problem with File Hippo and Ninite was some of the things that I had, they didn't support. So I would need to go out to those websites and see if there were updates. And the other thing is, I don't deal very well with black and white, and I just love to look at this. It's in color. What is in red needs to be updated. And I can say, hey, click on Perform for Updates. It updates in the background. There is no degradation. You just keep right on working. It's just doing its thing, and then it goes away. You can set it up also to do it automatically. I just do it myself, but you can set it up weekly, bi-weekly, whenever. Private internet access is my VPN. Jim Evans, who's no longer with us, and he in 2015, he said, Judy, you really need to be using a VPN. I really like this one, and I have been using private internet access ever since. And you choose where you want to be located. So I thought I think I'll be in Germany. Well, the slide says, I tried to get some information from my Discover card, and the gal on the other end in customer service wouldn't give me the time of day, because as far as she was concerned, I was in Germany. And I kept saying, no, I'm here in Canyon Country, 35 miles northwest of Los Angeles. So I knew that wasn't the smart thing for me to do. And then I tried Canada, and I wanted to find out what the telephone number for the Bed Bath & Beyond on the other side of the valley. But forgetting that I was in Canada, I Googled it, and they gave me all the Bed Baths & Beyond from the West Coast to the East Coast of Canada. So now I'm in San Jose, and that seems to work for me just fine. But it encrypts everything from your end to when it arrives, which is something we, enjoy. Cheryl Wester, who used to be one of APCU's advisors, she thinks WAT, Web of Trust, is great. It shows that there's a little green check mark that says the website has been vetted and it's okay. If you have somebody that is just new to the internet, this is something that is really good for them, because that way, they don't go someplace where they shouldn't. Say, if you have a choice of going to 4 different websites and one of them has the green safe, check that one, use that one instead of the other 3. Password managers, Bitwarden. John Kennedy, one of our advisors, and he is the host moderator for the Wednesday workshops and the Saturday safaris. And he's an open source person. So Bitwarden is his go-to password manager, and it works with Windows, Mac, and Linux. And your data, of course, is fully encrypted before it leaves your device. So this is what we're looking for. It's very easy to use. And people say, oh, it's going to be so much work for me to put all my password information into a password manager. And I say, no, just put in, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. See if you like it. This is free, or you can do the paid version, but try different ones. You might find one that you go, oh my gosh, I don't understand this at all. This isn't for me. Well, you've only got a couple of passwords in there, so you can, cancel the account and you're out of there. But this is relatively easy to use, and people are using their password managers for one-stop shopping. I just bought a new dishwasher and it has all the information in there. I got a 3-year warranty on it. So if I need to know something about who to contact for my warranty or whatever, it's in my password manager program. And my digital asset, executor, she knows that all mom's stuff is in my password manager program, instead of having a file called warranties and a file called, another thing. It's all in the password manager program. And install it. It syncs with all of your devices if that's what you want it to do. Dashlane is another popular one. If you have less than 50 passwords on only one device, you don't want to sync it with anybody, this is a good one. LastPass is a favorite out there in the free world, or $3 a month. What happened with this, I believe, last year or earlier this year, is they took some of the phone free stuff and put it into the paid program. And many people said, I'm not going to pay anything for this because I have been getting it free forever. And they transferred their stuff to Bitwarden and it went over seamlessly. And our friend Bob G kind of recommends that you have 2 password manager programs just in case something happens to one of them. And I believe this is one of the password manager programs that he uses. But just think about that, just in case. And if you input your information in one, then it's easily transferable. And I didn't complete my sentence about you only need to input 2 or 3, and then you add the extension on your browsers. And when you go into a website and you put in your username, boom, and your password, that information automatically populates your password manager fields. And then when you have time, you can go back in and put in the rest of the information. BellArc Advisor tells you every single thing you ever wanted to know, even if you didn't think you needed to know it about your computer. So if you're buying a new computer, you might want to run BellArc Advisor on your old one to see, do some comparisons and to make sure that you get all of the software that you have downloaded information about it and tick your memory. Instead of making a list, you'll find it in a BellArc Advisor report, and then you can populate it on your new computer. Personal home use only. How do they make their money? Businesses use this. So they're letting us use it for free. And on almost every screen, they let us know that. And it gives the information. And this says that updated your definitions, Judy, because gosh, gee, they were 491 days old. And so I thank them very much. And they said my virus protection is up to date. My security was up to date. That was automatically, but they checked every single thing for me and updated their program. And this is kind of things you get: your software licenses, serial numbers. Oh, I forgot to write the serial number down for that. BellArc Advisor will show you what it is. It will say when your install dates happened in the past 90 days, and on and on and on. If you are working on somebody's computer and you're their tech person, you might want to, the first thing you do is run BellArc Advisor to bring everything up to date and then let you know what kind of drives they have, what's on their, how large is their hard drive, how full of information is it, how much RAM, etc. It just gives you all kinds of interesting and useful information. And it also lets you know how long it's been since you've used a program or an app. And you might think, if I have not used that in that length of time, I probably don't need to keep it on anymore. I love Bitly. It shortens your website addresses, and it's free. You can get your own account if you would like to and have your own domain and create custom links. I don't care about that, but it takes those really long links that are 2 or 3 lines long that you send it to somebody in email and they get back to you and they say, I click on the link and it just doesn't work. Well, you didn't copy and paste all of it. So if you have a long link, think about using Bitly to make it shorter. And this isn't necessarily long, but it shortens down to the HTTP, and it's HTTPS now. And it also lets you know if you are sending an email out to somebody and you're giving them information and you have it as, if you want to know some more about this, click here. And it lets you know how many people actually clicked on the link. And you send something out that you really worked long and hard on and you think it's great, and, in a week's time and you find out only 2 people have clicked on the link. That kind of makes you sad, but at least you know what's going on. CCleaner, this is one of Bob's programs again. It's free. This is the other program that I pay for, Malwarebytes and CCleaner. I just prefer to do that. And to keep your hard drive clean, to keep your privacy up and on and on and on. This is a great program app to have. But the first thing you need to do, or even now if you are using this, you need to go in, if you haven't customized it, and think on your different browsers. Do I want to keep my history? Is that something that's important to me? Do you want to know where you went last week or 2 weeks ago? So you need to think about customizing it, because CCleaner says, this is what we suggest we'd like to clean. And it's just like when you get your Windows 10, your Windows 11, you're going to customize it to beat the band on how you want to use it and not how Microsoft thinks you should be using it. You need to do the same thing with this program here. So something that you rely on going back to, you go, oh, oops, all of that information is gone. But it was something you relied on. So please customize these kinds of things. And it tells me that I had 550 trackers and a whole bunch of megabytes of junk. And it says clean all. And this always used to get my students, because it says, you're going to clean it all and this is going to delete everything. And they want to give you a double check. Are you sure you want to do this? And if you trust CCleaner and you've customized it, you say, sure. And you're done. Evernote is one of Huey's favorite programs, and it helps you capture and prioritize everything but the kitchen sink. I called it my Post-it note program. I used it for years, and I remembered I had the yellow Post-its all around my CRT monitor reminding me of things. Along comes Evernote, and away went the Post-it notes around my CRT monitor, and then my CRT monitor went away. But I would put anything that I found on the web that I wanted to talk about or think about talking about at my next meeting or my October meeting, because we would talk about security and everything. And it's a really neat app to accumulate things. It's free or paid. And back in the day, David Williams, our former president, asked me to find out how many groups were social media, were they Facebook, Twitter, you name it. And so, of course, I sent an email out to everybody and very few people replied. So I, over time, went through everybody's website. I kept all the information in Evernote. not a Word document, but in Evernote. It was just there. It was on the web. I put it in there, and it took me about 1.5 years to get through everything. And it was so easy then to put all of that information together. And this is information for my July 2020 meeting. And Groovy Post had something I was interested in. And there's all the stuff that I needed to do. Easy peasy. I now use Edge as my primary browser, and they have something called Collections. And this is what I am using instead of Evernote. And all you need to do is click on the little plus sign there, and you can start a new collection. And as I was closing out my browser the other night, I found 11 articles that I wanted to read. I didn't have time to read it last night. Actually, I didn't want to read them last night. So I started a collection that said, JT, you need to read these. And I had 6 items for our September meeting. I wanted to update my social media for seniors presentation. I found 4 websites that had pertinent information. I want to put, a declutter presentation, digital declutter presentation, 3 items, and so on. So this is what I'm using now instead of Evernote. That I don't need that kind of stuff anymore. I live and breathe Grammarly. If you have not tried it, it is free. I take that back. I pay for this one too. And it helps make everything you write better. It's all I can say. And I'm a great editor. I can edit anything and make it better, but I'm not really a good writer. My teacher daughter says, Mom, you write in bullet points. Well, I do PowerPoint presentations. So, I do that in bullet points. So I write, so to speak, in bullet points. And Grammarly helps me with, do you need a comma? Do you not need a comma? Do you need a different word? And then it will say, why don't you try the sentence this way? And I look at it, and isn't that great? And over time, I have become a much better writer because anything that I send out to APCUG group members, I feel reflects on APCUG. So I want it to be the best that it can possibly be. But I recommend everybody try this, and your emails, your Facebook, it picks up all kinds of places, because out in the world, your writing kind of says about who you are. This is just kind of a new ad next door, and it's the private social network for your neighborhood. And it's kind of a way to stay informed about what's going on in your area. If I send something out via my neighborhood area, I get almost 9,000 people surrounding me. And people keep track of suspicious behavior. And her name was there, and she's Canyon Crest Grove, and I'm on the edge of a canyon, and it's on the other side of the canyon. And she was letting us know that the strange man came, and she kept saying, he was getting his keys. Why were his keys at the top of my driveway? She took a picture of him. She described him. But it was just an alert for all of us in the area to be aware. And if people record things with their cameras, they will put a picture of the person in there. Nitro PDF Reader, I gave up with Adobe PDF Reader many years ago. I came back from the Southwest Conference in San Diego, and it had been hacked, and Adobe took a few months before they told everybody you need to update it. And then 2 weeks later, it needed to be updated again. And I thought, I have to have those pesky Tuesday updates from Microsoft. So I ended up with Nitro PDF Reader, and it works great. And so I've been using it just as a casual reader. Now you have the PDF readers with your browsers. But if I don't happen to have working with my browser, I use this, and it takes up very little space. And I look at websites for APCUG groups, and they are still back in the day where you need Adobe PDF Reader to look at our newsletter. And that hasn't been so for a gazillion years. Very simple. You can do some things with it, but it's just a reader. PayPal. Every time I buy something online, I use PayPal. Nobody knows what my card is. I have a deal with my Discover card that every time I buy something, I get money back. And, depending upon what I have bought, I sometimes get quite a bit of free money, because when I buy something via PayPal, I just transfer the money from my checking account over to my Discover card within a couple of days. So I'm not paying interest on it. And you all know, don't ever use your debit card to pay for anything. And the one thing that you should do if you haven't is, if you have a Prime account or this account or that account, you really need to go in and check to make sure that you only have one credit card listed. Sometimes we say, oh, we're not going to use that credit card anymore. I'm going to use this one now. And you just want to make sure that you don't have a list of 3 or 4 or 5 of your credit cards there, just in case you get hacked. Okay. And it says, hi, Judy. Glad you're here. And like I say, I got the biggest kick out of it. I bought something from Walmart online and then kind of laughed hysterically because I paid for it with PayPal and said, oh, look at that. Walmart's not getting all the money, because APCUG, you can pay your group's dues with PayPal and it's $50, but we don't get $50. We only get, they only take like a couple of dollars off. But I got a kick out of even Walmart takes PayPal. Or Venmo. You can pay peer-to-peer, account to account with Venmo, and gazillion websites and brick and mortar stores accept it as a payment option. It is a PayPal company. Plus my kids' grandsons and little girls selling lemonade. My youngest daughter and her husband and the dog were out walking, and they had a water bowl and water for him and water for them. And they were coming back, no water, no money. And 2 elementary school girls were selling lemonade, and they said, would you like some lemonade? And they said, oh, yes, but we don't have, we didn't bring any money with us. And they looked at him and said, do you take Venmo? And I got the biggest kick out of that. The next day, my oldest daughter's husband had asked me to go to Costco and get toilet paper and paper towels, because he said, you seniors get in early. By the time I get there, there's nothing there. And he rolls in, and I'm still waiting for that $35, because the first words out of his mouth was, do you take Venmo? And I laughed. The little girls from elementary school do it. My kids do it. And here's mom. No, I don't, but I will be setting that up. So think about that. Sending money triggers a standard 3% fee. If you have a Venmo balance, a bank account, or a debit card on file, that's free. Bill James, he's given presentations to almost every group around. And these are all of the apps that he uses to pay his things. He uses PayPal. He uses Apple Pay, Samsung, Cash App, Venmo. He gets 2% back on his Cash App for Apple. With Samsung, he gets discounts on anything he buys with his Samsung Pay account. And if you were to ask him, does he carry any money? He would probably say very little. When he and a group go out to eat, he loves the Cash App because they all seem to use it. And he said it is so easy to divvy it all up, and they each pay their fair share, including the tip. Recuva is in the CCleaner Pro version. And have you deleted something that you shouldn't? And you go, oh my gosh. Well, you might want to think about using Recuva. I got an email from somebody in one of the groups, and he'd attended Wednesday workshops. They seem to know me. And he said, I deleted some things. I'm looking for some way I can restore it. And I immediately said, why don't you try Recuva? And he did, and it worked. And he said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I've never had to do that. But hey, with other people, it has worked. And they also say it's not perfect, but hey, it's better than paying bucks to some tech person to try to get it back yourself. But again, if you have added new documents, or you've downloaded something, you just might have added, saved a document over the free space that is now allocated because you accidentally deleted it. And of course, if you buy it, it does more stuff for you. Revo Uninstaller. When you install a program with Windows built in, uninstall it. Sometimes bits and pieces are left over. And I typed this up and I think, yeah, sure. When I had my students, that someone would come in and raise their hand. Oh my gosh, yesterday I got that pop-up you talk about where it says it's from Microsoft and I have horrible things happening on my hard drive and I should give them a call. And inside I would go, oh yes, it really does happen, because I don't ever get anything like that. So, but with the uninstaller, my techie daughter didn't want to do it, and they had Blackberries. The Blackberries went away, and she said, can you come on over and, run CCleaner and just, spiffy everything up? And oh, by the way, would you please uninstall the Blackberry program? I said, sure. So, a couple of days later, she opens up her computer and part of the Blackberry program is still there. And it says, we can't find it. And that glitches her up at the beginning. So she bypasses it. And of course, her mother's going, ha, 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 gotcha. And so she said, Mom, what did you do? I said, I didn't do anything. It's a Microsoft thing. So she said, you've got to fix this. Enter Revo Uninstaller. And it got rid of everything immediately. And this is kind of what it looks like. You can also uninstall programs with CCleaner. John Kennedy, one of his favorite apps was TeamViewer. He used it with his students. You'll see it says uses. Well, it's past tense now. After class, if they needed one-on-one help, which amazes me because these are beginning computer people. And he felt that TeamViewer was so easy that he would, demonstrate it in class, and then they'd get in touch if they didn't understand something, and he'd use TeamViewer to go over with it again. You can use it to troubleshoot a friend or relative's computer, you name it, and it is free. And then all of a sudden he was using it with his students, and the classes were free. And TeamViewer said, you can't do this anymore because we feel you're running a business. And it took him quite a while to get them to understand that, no, they really weren't. It was a nonprofit and everything was free to their members. This is what it looks like. You can allow it. You can control it. You can let somebody take over your computer. You can watch things that are happening, whatever. And so he decided he would go with AnyDesk. Now, AnyDesk is his go-to program. He thinks this is better than sliced bread. This is the one that he uses now. And I have a member plus the president of the Under the Computer Hood user group in San Diego that uses AnyDesk. And when they go on vacation, they can access their computer at home from wherever they happen to be. And that's in addition to, being able to help people and so on and so on. So AnyDesk seems to be the preferred program now. Bill James and I live with Windows Quick Assist, Win 10 to Win 10 or 11, but it is a Windows app, and it allows someone you trust. And the operative word there is trust. Make sure when you are letting somebody with TeamViewer or AnyDesk or Windows Quick Assist, you can do this with Zoom. Make sure it's somebody that you trust, that you know deep down isn't going to mess up your computer. And I mean, there's some people that will say to me, you have to try this. It's absolutely fantastic. And I look at who it is and I'm thinking, you really don't have a very good grounding in technology yet. So I kind of just nod my head and I'll use it on a test computer, but there's no way that I would use it on my main computer. So think about who you're giving access to your computer to. Of course, I trust Bill. We'll just be talking about something and arguing about it usually, and he'll say, you want to do a quick assist? And I take control of his, or he takes control of mine, or we just look at it. and it works real cool. We are talking to each other on the phone, so one or the other of us gives them the other person a 6-digit number, and we're off and running. You can get assistance or give assistance. We used this a couple of nights ago, and we set it up the wrong way. And he said, you know, we have to go back and start this again. We needed to set it up the other way. So even though we use it a lot, we're talking to each other and we're working so fast that we kind of screw it up. But it's really great. But again, it is just for Windows. Bob says, unchecky. When you download apps, programs, whatever, and you forget to uncheck the boxes that are checked, you can end up with apps that you don't want, that you don't need, you don't care about, you wouldn't be caught dead using. And you have to go into uninstall and uninstall them. And when you download these, the apps that you don't want, the authors of those programs get a few pennies from whatever main app you were interested in uninstalling. My comment is you need to stop and smell the roses and make sure you uncheck the boxes. He says, to heck with the roses, just use unchecky and it will uncheck the boxes for you. Here you go. VLC media player, the best thing that you can, again, play every file format under the sun. Very easy to use. You download it. You watch your Zoom videos, your Tech for Seniors videos with it, your YouTube videos, everything. It is a wonderful program, and of course, it's free. But again, this has to be updated every once in a while. So Patch My PC is going to let you know when this needs to be updated. And if you can use VLC, you just get one of those little traffic cones to the left of the file name. And this is something that Huey talked about. It's new. You guys probably know about it. And it's called Everything. It's a search engine for your Windows computer. And it does a much better and faster, he says, instantly job for your Windows computer. Initially, just displays every single thing. You can search for file content, monitors your file system for changes, and your search results update in real time to reflect any changes. So you might, we trust Huey, he's one of the supreme people that we trust, drop dead no matter what. You might want to give everything a try and see if you like it better to search what's on your hard drive. This is one that one of the people who attended the utility apps, one of our Wednesday workshops recommended. We have to be so very careful these days with our presentations that we upload to YouTube, because if you have copyrighted material, it pops up and says you have copyrighted material. And you can go ahead and upload it, but you might have to have a commercial for whatever the copyrighted material is. And if you do that 3 times, they're going to bump you off YouTube and you can't come back. And you instantly lose everything that is up there. So you have to be extremely careful about not uploading something that's copyrighted material. One of the Wednesday workshops presentation had an excellent description of what you needed to do whatever it was, and then went and showed a little video on how to do it. It was copyrighted by Sony. YouTube got in touch immediately and said, Sony says, go ahead and use it if you will let them insert a commercial about it, an advertisement about it. Well, I just deleted that and I took out what, that part of his presentation, because his description and steps on how to do it, you didn't need that part. So I've decided, I went through my presentations and I've used word clouds. And I'm always, use this one, use that one. Well, this gentleman, Joe Nowak, he said he likes word cloud generator, and he created that for, what we were talking about at our utilities program, which I thought was very nice of him. And so that's my go-to word cloud generator now. So instead of having maybe a graphic that I've checked it, but I'm really not sure if it's copyrighted or not, and it's about something like that I could put the information in a word cloud, I will put that. I have done this with my digital asset executor program. I had a graphic that I thought just was way cool. Well, it was copyrighted. So I used all the information that was, that went along with that. I came up with a word cloud that worked just as well. And I have tried getting in touch with a couple of people because their graphics just enhance the presentation. And they said, thank you very much in getting in touch, but please send money. So think word cloud if that comes up for you. And I have my resources. You will get a copy of this presentation on however Sarasota does it. And I am finished. I hope you learned about something new that you hadn't thought about before and that you might want to try. And I hope that you have come up with light bulb comes on. I think I love this, and maybe they'd be interested in fill in the blank, that app. So any questions? Any apps you'd like to tell us about that you just live and breathe for?
There's, I think, Judy,
Yes.
I have a question about Zelle or Zelly, and I got an information on it the other day saying, don't use this anymore. Is this
Right.
a problem?
I would look into that further and see. It was like, do we know that that's going to last forever? Is it straight scoop? It was kind of like in March of 2020 when we all started using Zoom, and we had the, all of a sudden everybody and their brother was breaking into Zoom and causing havoc. And everybody said, oh, don't ever use Zoom. Don't ever use Zoom. And it was on us because if we had, done the 2 security things, that wouldn't have happened. But we didn't think we needed that because it's a business app. But these pesky kids didn't have anything to do. So I would check that further to see what the status is.
Okay, thank you very
My
much.
kids are still using it. What can I tell you? Would they trust what their mother says? No.
Murray has his
love it.
hand up.
Murray. Can't hear you, kiddo. You're too far away. You're in Canada. Still can't hear you.
No, you don't.
Now you can. Now I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a little button on my earphones that I sometimes accidentally pushed, and I pushed
The old accidentally push routine.
it. Yeah. Anyway, I have 2 things. First of all, I know Evernote is quite handy. I kind of OneNote is similar, and the advantage of the disadvantage of Evernote, which was the killer for me and the free version, is that you're limited to 3 devices, and I have a lot more than 3 devices. So I use OneNote, which is very similar, and it's free. At least there's a free version which allows you to do everything I've been able to do so far. And then I just had a comment about copyright. A few years ago, I recorded a church service at our church, and I put it on YouTube, and I got one of these nasty things from YouTube saying, "Hey, you violated copyright, and if you do 2 more things, you'll be out." And I checked it, and okay, what was copyright? Well, it was "Jesus Loves Me." Somebody had claimed copyright for it. Of course, it's been in the public domain for 100 years. So I appealed to them. I said, "Look, this has been in the public domain for a long, long time. It can't be a violation of copyright." They agreed with me and let it stand. But sometimes copyright, there are people out there, just like for patent trolling, who will claim copyrights for things that they don't have any copyright for. But anyway, thank you for your presentation. A lot of new useful stuff. Have a good day.
We have several clubs that have been sued from he's at the west end of Canada, from the east end of Canada law firm that have sued them because they have trolls that go out and look for copyrighted graphics and things like that. The first club was STUG down in San Diego, and they paid $100. They said, we want two. They said, we have no money. We're nonprofit. We'll give you one. Other ones have ignored them. We have one group in Michigan, I believe, actually Ohio, and they get inundated with these all the time. They totally disregard them. We have a group in Florida that disputed it, got information from an attorney at a group in California on how she handled it and made them go away. So it is important. But since March of this year, before you say save, they pop up and say you got copyrighted material. That was new. They test drove it for a few months and then they made it for everybody because, like Murray said, he found out about it after he had published it. Now you have the opportunity to say, like I did, I've done it a couple of times, I'll just cut that out and I delete the YouTube video and all is good, because we have one. I don't want to get any more. Kathleen.
Yes. Is any of what you have mentioned available on Apple? Or is everything Windows?
No, there are many that are cross-platform.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome. Carl is in San Francisco. Oh, he just disappeared. Oh, I wonder if he's drowning.
Sometimes people think I jumped into Lake Superior. That's the bridge in northern Michigan.
Oh, I thought that was the San Francisco Bay Bridge.
It's not, it's Mackinac Bridge.
Good to know.
Any rate, is that Bellar, or however it's pronounced, advisor, also available for like Android phones?
You'd have to check the website. I'm clueless. My bet would be, I doubt it, but give it. Google is your friend. John Kennedy would say, Judy, say DuckDuckGo is your friend too. Marshall.
For many years, I've been using a product called Alarm Plus Plus, and it's from 12 Noon. That's the name of the company, 12 Noon. And many of us have trouble keeping track of things we're supposed to do and places we're supposed to go and people we're supposed to see, and especially birthdays and so forth and so on. And this allows you to record those and set it up to when you want to be notified of something. It'll pop up on your screen. You can use it with or without. Did I ring a bell there?
No, how fun, but how cool.
It is very cool. I probably have in the neighborhood of maybe 150 on mine right now. It'll ring bells, do certain things, remind me to do things, which is, at my age, it's very helpful to have things to be reminded and so forth and so on. But most especially, I must admit, I really appreciate having the ability to have it pop up and tell me so's birthday is coming in a week. And that gives me time to do it. And you can snooze it if you like, and say snooze it for an hour, a day, or whatever the case might be, and it'll come back and remind you again. It won't leave you alone until you close it out. So it's very inexpensive. I think it's about $19 or something like that.
User groupies, like $19.99 is our threshold. If we have to pay for something, because in real life, user groupies like everything for free. That's
wait a minute, I made a mistake.
What?
It's $19.98.
Oh, okay, that's even better. $19.98 or $19.99 tops is all we will ever pay for anything.
Any questions, they can call me if they wish. Thanks.
Well, we don't have your phone number, but we would send you an email. As your email address. You could put that in the chat box with your name. And I'm glad to see you're off your island, by the way. And I have a Speakers Bureau presenter I would buy that for him. So he remembered his presentations. He's still trying to keep it up here and it doesn't work. Huey, you're on.
All right, couple of things. One, you mentioned that I use Evernote. I just checked. I've got just shy of 20,000 notes in my Evernote. I've been using it for many years. I do have the paid version because I have it on my Chromebook. I have it on my Windows 11 machine. I can get to it from my Android phone. I can get to it from my iPad. and I can look at any one of those 20,000 notes. And when I search on it, it finds everything, even if the word that I'm looking for is in a graphic. If it's a picture of a sign and the words in the sign, it'll come back and give that to me. And it's very fast as well.
Mhm.
The other thing about the copyrights, I got dinged from YouTube. I went to my nephew's wedding and did a video of the first dance of the married couple. And because the music was DJ played the music and they danced, and because that was copywritten music, I got a ding for it. So you got to be very careful on what you use and where you use it.
APCUG's president uses a friend's music in one of his presentations. And his presentations are all about music. And he got dinged. He'd already gotten the guy's permission. I mean, they're good friends. And so he went to bat. And YouTube got in touch with him and he got rid of his ding. And he gave a presentation about Plex, which is an organizer thingy for music. And he said, I'm going to show, a little bit, listen. And it was, and he was finished. And it's like when you quote a paragraph or something in a book. Jake Tapper got dinged from his publisher that said, you can't do that. It's against the law because it's copyright. You can only do so many words, like in the first sentence, before they consider you have stolen their copyright. And I don't watch him. I just happened to be there one day. And he said his next book, he wrote all the lyrics himself. And the publishers got back to him again and said, like, didn't you learn from your last book? And he said, they are all my original lyrics. They didn't even bother to look. They figured that he had done a no-no with the second book too. So he gave him a gotcha. Sherry, you're on.
Hi, Judy. First of all, I want to say great presentation.
Thank you.
I also want to say I'm a big fan of Evernote, and I not only use it to store articles that I want to reference in my tech ed newsletter, but I also use it for genealogy.
Ooh.
It's great to keep research articles for genealogy. I can keep notes about researching different family trees, the different areas, different people. So I'm with Huey. I love Evernote.
Now, do you have the free or paid?
I have the paid.
And how much
But
is the paid? Do you
It
either one of you?
is so minimal. It's like $20 for a year. It was very cheap.
Okay. So if you're interested in that, Huey's your man.
Yes, absolutely.
We know where he lives. We can send him emails and ask him questions. Carl.
Hey, I took your advice in that Bellark advisor. I went into my Android Play Store and it came up, but it said it does not work unless I have a Bellark server. So I don't know what that's about.
So I would say no, then. That'd be, you agree, Bill? They want you to buy something. And I think they're talking about, because like I said, they make their money with businesses. Any other questions? Tech teachers love questions. And there are no stupid questions. There are only clarifying questions. Drew.
All right. For the gentleman who's interested in information about his Android device, there is a program. It doesn't do a software inventory, but it does a thorough breakdown of your hardware, the processor, how much memory you have. And it's called Droid Hardware. And it's free. It's in the Google Play App Store. And it gives you all of the geeky type of analytics about your phone. If you own an Android phone, you want to compare it to a different model, your previous model. You want to know whether it's a 32-bit or a 64-bit processor. Gives you all that information.
What was the first word again, Drew?
Droid, D-R-O-I-D, hardware.
Got it.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a daughter who loves analytics. We kind of wonder where she came from. Any other questions? What are the 12 things in the chat box, Bill? Anything, any questions in there?
No, we've covered them as we went through them.
Judy, you are going to send the slides to Marshall to put on our website?
Senator Marshall,
Yep.
since he got off his island for the meeting, I will. You have to keep up with the Southern California sly humor, okay, guys? Huey's used to it.
Judy, this was a fantastic presentation. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
It really was very, very enlightening. We really want to thank you. And before we go, let me tell you that there is a winner tonight for a free STUG membership for whatever the next year is for this person. And the winner is, drum roll, Bill Kelleher. Bill, congratulations. So you will be getting a note from somebody very shortly. Nancy Dennis will be letting you know what you can do to get your free year's membership, and we're delighted that you won. Thank you again, Judy, for being with us. Thank you all for coming. Can you believe we did it all before 8 o'clock tonight? And we will see you all next month. Thank you very much.